Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here, and continuing my series, the 13 Days of Friday the 13th. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. And as you can see, I am shooting this video from a different location. I'm not down in the man cave because it is very, very hot down in the man cave today, and very uncomfortable. But switching things up a bit is very apropos, considering that I'm going to be talking about Jason Goes to Hell. Of course, Jason Goes to Hell was the first Friday the 13th film, Jason movie, whatever you want to call it, that was produced and released by New Line Cinema. After the poor box office of Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, Paramount said, okay, you've had a good run here, Jason, but now we're done with you. You're out the door. And a few years later, New Line Cinema came along and they picked up the rights. And as most horror fans, including myself, our initial thought when the news trickled down that New Line Cinema now owned Jason, our, of course, initial thoughts were Freddy vs. Jason is going to happen. Now's the time. Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason. Of course, that movie did happen many, many years later, but we got to kick things off, for New Line to kick off their own, Friday the 13th series, even though they didn't own the title Friday the 13th. They own the character Jason. They made their Jason movie, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, which even as a kid when this movie was first coming out, I thought it was kind of, it was very gimmicky that, okay, this is our first movie with the character, but we're going to sell it as the last. Which I thought was weird, but at the same time, I think at that moment, Freddy was dead. Freddy was in hell. So to get Freddy versus Jason together, you'd need to send Jason to hell. And I think that was sort of the original idea for Freddy versus Jason, or at least the concept that was being kicked around at the time was Freddy battling Jason in, the bowels of hell. And Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, is very, very sentimental to me. It holds a very, very special place in my heart for two reasons. It was the first Friday the 13th film that I saw in the theater, and I've mentioned this before on this channel and on the Sausage Factory. I actually went with a church youth group to watch Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Absolutely serious, not a joke. Went with a church youth group. One of the guys' mothers in the church drove us to the theater to watch Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, and actually bought tickets because we were all underage, couldn't get in to watch Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. So that's how we got in to watch Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. And number two, it was my first movie theater experience. I'd never gone to see a movie in the theater up to then. The small town that I lived in, we didn't even have a movie theater. So to even go watch a movie at the theater, you were either driving 20 miles one way or 25, 30 miles the other way just to go watch a movie. But yeah, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. I just remember being that young kid who had seen all the Friday the 13th up to this point, being a huge horror fan, a huge fan of the series, a huge fan of Jason, sitting in the theater holding this enormous tub of popcorn, and the lights going down, the movie coming up, and just being beyond giddy, beyond happy. I mean, I wish I could have taken a picture of myself, because I'm sure it would have just been eyes wide, huge smile, in heaven. And now, is Jason Goes to Hell a great movie? No. Does it have a lot of flaws? Yes. But I find Jason Goes to Hell far more entertaining and far more watchable than some of the other films that I'm going to talk about going forward, some of the other New Line Friday the 13th films. They definitely took a much different approach to Jason Goes to Hell. We have this great opening sequence where there's just this woman drives out to this cabin in the woods for whatever reason. As soon as she gets there, she decides to strip off and take a shower. Of course, Jason comes after her. He follows her out into the woods, where he is sort of led into a trap where he's surrounded by this SWAT team, and they proceed to blow him into smithereens. And then Jason's parts are taken to the morgue. The coroner, possessed somehow, eats Jason's heart and therefore sort of consumes his evil, is possessed by Jason, and we have a body hopping Friday the 13th Jason movie. Now, very much like The Hidden. And now, I almost look at this movie similarly to the way that I look at Friday the 13th Part 5. If you forget that it's a Friday the 13th film, you're probably going to have fun, I think, with Jason Goes to Hell. You're going to have fun with it because the movie's got a good sense of humor about itself. There's a lot of fairly good action sequences in the film. I mean, you've got a lot of shootouts and slow-mo and just stuff that you hadn't seen in a Friday the 13th film really up to that point. Really good special effects in the film. Special makeup effects. I think Cam B did the effects on the film, and it's bloody as all get out. You've got great kills. You know, the chick that gets just cut in half, at least in the unrated version. And if you guys have the Blu-ray set that Warner Brothers released last year, Jason Goes to Hell is only available in its R-rated form, which I have no idea why that is. The unrated version of that film has been made available ever since VHS, since the movie was first released on VHS. That was sort of the edition of the film. I have no clue why they even, why even make it an option? Just put the unrated version on that disc for that set. And it is the R-rated version. I watched it. It is the R-rated version. It is not the unrated version, just, miscategorized or whatever. But really, I mean, looking at that set, there's a lot of really just, mind-boggling things that they did with it, especially with like the graphics design and stuff. You can tell whoever put the box set together had probably never even seen a Friday the 13th movie. I mean, clearly. But yeah, that's a great kill in the film. You get a lot of good kills in the film, a lot of really bloody, gory kills in the film. What's another thing that's kind of cool is like when Jason is reduced to a lip demon slug kind of creature that goes from person to person, like I said, body swapping. But once the creature is moved into another person's body, the person that it has exited from, they like begin to melt and just turn into nasty, awful things. And while Jason is inside them, they're slowly like decomposing and rotting, and they look nasty. And that's really cool. I mean, we got a lot of, sort of the slasher movie prerequisites. We've got a lot of, we've got a big body count. We got plenty of boobs in the movie. But yeah, you got lots of kills. You got good practical effects. I like John D. LeMay in the lead. Of course, he was in Friday the 13th, the series. They brought him over to play the lead in the film, and I thought that was pretty cool. I enjoyed seeing him in the film. I think it sort of brought, it connected the series with the TV series with the film series, which I thought was really cool. So I mean, I think just on, if you looked at Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday, as kind of just this body swapping, the hidden kind of rip-off movie, you're probably gonna enjoy it just on those sort of base levels of great effects, great practical effects, lots of kills, big body count, some nice action sequences, some naked ladies running around. You're gonna enjoy it just from that sort of very primal level. As a Friday the 13th film, Jason himself, the actual Jason, is only in the movie, really at the very beginning and at the very end. He looks very odd. Jason looks very, very odd in this film. He's played by Kane Hodder yet again, but just his design is a little weird. His head is like enormous with it's like bubbly and weird, and like it's grown over the mask. It's very clearly like a suit. It doesn't look real. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look like a great makeup effect. It just looks like Kane Hodder in a suit, in like a big padded suit. It looks like Jason's, you know, in between part 8 and Jason Goes to Hell, he spent a lot of time at the Burger King or something. I don't know. But there's apparently a comic book that features Jason in it that sort of, you know, bridges the gap between part 8 and Jason Goes to Hell, which I would really like to read. I think that would be cool. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of flaws in the movie. I mean, you've got some questionable, I think, just questionable filmmaking choices in the film. You've got Creighton Duke, who his character really just doesn't make any sense. He knows everything there is to know about Jason, but they don't explain why. I think there was a subplot that was supposed to explain why he knows all this information about Jason, but just it got cut. But of course, I mean, if you knew all this information about Jason and how to kill Jason, you know, why didn't you do it a long time ago? They throw in some sort of, you know, there's kind of sci-fi elements in the film. There's creature feature elements in the film. It's just sort of a hodgepodge. It's like they, you know, and I don't think you can necessarily blame Adam Marcus and Dean Lorey, who, you know, directed and wrote the film, because, I mean, they were sort of instructed by Sean Cunningham to take Jason out of the movie, more or less, to get the hockey mask out of the movie, because Sean Cunningham does not like hockey masks, apparently. So, I mean, that were their directions. I mean, I do think it's a fun movie. I think it's an entertaining movie. I think it's a watchable movie. I kind of think of it, I think of all of the New Line Friday the 13th films as sort of non-canon, sort of, you know, one-shot, what-if kind of movies. You know, what if Jason is just a slug that can, you know, jump from body to body? You know, what if Jason went to space? You know, what if Jason and Freddy finally dueled it out? That's how I can kind of take the New Line Friday the 13th films, as sort of non-canon entries. 1 through 8, the Paramount 8, are the series in my heart. The New Line films, like I said, I can stomach them as long as I think of them as sort of non-canon entries into the series. And Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday, is honestly, in my opinion, one of the more, like I said, entertaining and watchable of the New Line Jason films. So, anyway, that's my thoughts on Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday. Definitely not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but one that I do think is pretty fun, pretty entertaining, pretty watchable. Yeah, odd movie. Odd movie, but I enjoy it. So let me know what you guys think of Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday, in the comment section below. And until I see you guys again with my thoughts on Jason X, Evil gets an upgrade, Jason goes to space. You guys take it easy. Peace.